The Tales of Arise DLC Beyond the Dawn is finally here, and so everyone has that question, is it worth it? Releasing a little over 2 years after the original game, what more can this DLC provide to a game that already had an extremely unique combat system, beautiful scenery, a fully fleshed out story from start to finish? Like, what more can be done to this game? Well, you're asking yourself those questions. Luckily for you, that's what I plan to answer in this video and help determine if Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn DLC is worth the $30 price tag. A few disclaimers to get out of the way. I did receive a copy of the DLC from Bandai, but all of my opinions are my own. There's no restrictions on what I can or can't say. And I'll also attempt to only include footage from the first hour of the DLC to prevent any major spoilers, but there will be spoilers from the main game. So if you haven't played the main game already, check out my channel. I have another video where I review the actual main game just for you. Now that the disclaimers are out of the way, let's get a quick synopsis of the DLC storyline just to wet your whistle. Before you even buy the game, if you go to Bandai's websites, there's going to be 3 prequel short stories to read that gives you backstory on what each of the 3 couples did leading up to the DLC Beyond the Dawn. But the last time we actually saw the cast in game, they had just freed the Dahna people and began merging the 2 worlds into one. The Beyond the Dawn DLC takes place 1 year after the events of the main game, but before the ending scene shown in the epilogue. You guys all know the scene that I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it for anyone just in case. But in the DLC, we start to see the growing pains of integrating the Dahnan people with their oppressors, the Renan. Without giving away too much of the DLC, we meet a girl named Nazamil, who is shunned by both the Dahnans and the Renans because she's part of both races. Her father being a lord of the Renan people and her mother being a Dahnan. I'll leave the lord still for mystery, so that way you have some more things to look forward to if you decide to purchase the game. But the party takes in Nazamil during their first quest, where they find out that she's been experimented on and has the similar powers to Alphen and Shion. So that's just a little teaser to pique your interest. The rest you can experience for yourself, as I mentioned earlier, if you do decide to buy the DLC. But if this channel's piqued your interest even a little, I'd appreciate it if you went down and smashed that subscribe button and hit the like button, so that way this video can be shared to more people looking to get into Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn. Now it's time to answer the question, how much content do you actually get from this DLC? So from a gameplay standpoint, not much has changed. Regardless of your level in Tales of Arise, you're going to be automatically set to level 75 to match the difficulty of the DLC. So if you're level 100, you're level 50, you're going to be level 5 when you start the DLC. You don't need to have beaten Tales of Arise to play the DLC. You can automatically start with the DLC if you want. I don't know why you do that, but it is an option. And unfortunately, the DLC doesn't introduce any new arts or any new playable characters, but it does feature new costumes. So for me, that was a big letdown because I was really looking forward to potential playable characters, or just maybe even a few new arts within the DLC, just to adjust the gameplay a little bit from what we got with the base game, but that's not gonna be the fact here. The bulk of the content you actually receive is coming from the expansion of the story. The DLC is gonna be about 10 to 13 hours if you play straight through the main quest, but there are 40 additional side quests, which compared to the mainline game having 70 additional side quests is a significant bit of just alternative things you can do aside from rushing straight through the game. So I would say if you're looking for game-breaking changes when it comes to gameplay, this may not be the DLC for you. But if you're really into the lore, you enjoyed the story, or you just want to spend more time with the cast, I feel like this DLC is going to be a solid purchase for you because that's exactly what they focused on. But now that you have all the information, I'm going to give you my opinion on Tales of Arise and if it's worth the $30 price tag. While this DLC doesn't provide much content gameplay wise, I personally don't think it needed to. The Tales of Arise combat was already so polished and fun to me that a few new arts really wouldn't have made a difference. I may have just kept playing with whatever arts I used in the main story just because that's how I got used to fighting. So I probably would have just ignored them if they were in the game anyways. And when it comes to adding an additional character, I can see that being a massive issue within itself, just because I feel like every character served a unique purpose and had a specific playstyle. So adding a new character would require you to give that character a purpose And then there's also the synergies that we see everyone in the party have with one another that just provide so many different combinations of attacks. You would have to add that many combinations with just adding one additional character. So like I said, I can see why that wasn't done, but I really wish it was something that they did focus a little bit more on, just to add a little bit more diversity to the actual changes to gameplay. Now, the 10 hours of new story content though, adds enough for me to feel like this isn't a throwaway DLC that I should just ignore and keep it pushing. I thoroughly enjoyed the base game, so 10 more hours with Alfred and the crew is something that I'd easily sign up for, and that's if I don't decide to do the side quest, which is going to provide me even more story content. Now overall, I personally don't believe this DLC is worth the full $30 price tag, but I don't think it's a DLC that you should just ignore and skip and not play. Had I not gotten the game for free, my game plan probably would have been to add it to my wish list, wait for it to go on sale. Bandai frequently puts their games on sale, so you might not have to wait that long, and we've waited 2 years already, so I'd be comfortable waiting a few more months before snagging it. Now, I did give a little bit of constructive criticism earlier about the additional characters. That might have been enough to change my mind in terms of saying, yes, this is worth the full $30 price tag, because an additional character would provide so many changes to the actual combat and gameplay, because we'd get to see the synergy with that one character and the entire cast. I wanted to make sure to add that part here as well, because I don't like to just harp on the negatives if I can't provide maybe a positive alternative that would have maybe made me say that, okay, here's the full 30 bucks, take my money. But those are going to be my opinions. Feel free to let me know yours on the DLC in the comments down below. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you in the next one.